Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the 805 post show from an incredible day from start to finish. Here at the Bonsai Pipeline, fans are still thinking about their favorite waves they saw today, some giant wipeouts. We saw some brave, gutsy performances, and I think the overall narrative was, the locals standing out, protecting what's theirs here at Pipeline. That was a special day for the Challenger Series as well, having an event this big for the CS, so close to the end of the season as rookies and familiar faces are trying to get back on the CT. Thanks for being with us on the 805 post show. Joe Trappell, Mitchell Salazar, and Ross Williams. Mitch, you're beaming in the dark this morning watching the waves, and to cap off a great day, how do you put it into words now, what you saw?
Epic. Memorable, I think, is another amazing word, too. Just an incredible day. So stoked to be here and witness this. And I think Pipeline being the Challenger Series Schedule 2 makes things even more exciting. And it's preparation, too, Joe. Yeah,
and, you know, Ross, you've obviously been around all winter and actively watching, you know, the Pipe QSs, the regionals, you know, and how tough it's been to get good waves. When we have a day like today and all the nines we got to see, including Mason, you know, in that last heat, this is probably the best day we've had competitively on the North Shore Pipeline this year.
Yeah, and we had to wait for it a little bit. We had a late start there, so it was a good call from Billy Kemper early in the morning, waiting until 9 a.m. to get this thing kicked off. Huge waves last night, and it finally settled down. As the afternoon kind of poured on, we saw rides like this where the ocean settled down. It was still a lot of work for the guys, but the guys that could figure it out, like Mason right here, they were paid off with some pretty epic rides.
Just Mason always reminds you that you can do it your way. You know, with all the textbook and things and form and whatever you got to do with your arms, Mason's just like, be yourself.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, and he's positive in that sense, and I think he's a good role model because of that too, Joe. But what an epic way to cap it off with that 9 right there. That roll-in, that was vintage Pipeline.
Yeah, he had that 7.6 he was showing to Jesse Starling earlier today. He said he had a bigger one just in case. Well done to Mason Ho getting the win in the last heat of the day. Now hanging out once again with everyone on the beach that he loves. We'll catch up with him in just a moment, but he's one of those class acts, you know, that we've seen step up in wild card moments globally, even at Bell's, but even at Pipeline, where he's made the semifinals in the Pipe Masters. So for Mason, he really grabs these events with both hands. Even though he looks free-spirited, the competitive prowess of Mason, he's only in this to try to win the whole contest.
Oh, 100%, and I think that's the whole point of competing, right? Regardless if you're a wild card, if you're starting from, you know, the locals round or not, your aspirations should still always be to try to win this thing, Joe.
Yeah, 100%. What a great addition to this field. The North Shore locals had 5 heats this morning. Top 2 moving on. We'll stay in the 4-man heats throughout, but now things are going to get very interesting as we'll get to compare them, guys like Mason, to, you know, these top-tier qualifiers that are looking to be rookies on tour this year.
Yeah, it's a very unique event. Again, not typical for a Challenger Series event to have that many wild cards injected into the event, and then you throw in the whole vibe of it. We're here at Big Waves at Pipeline. It's tough for a lot of these guys fighting for points, and you got groovy dudes like Mason just kind of floating on the water out there on a huge board. You know, I love it. And real quickly, just my opinion on Mason too. I love it. He's such a throwback. He's not your typical present-day pro surfer, you know, busting airs and trying to get clips on Instagram. He's just real rootsy and groovy, and you never know what he's going to say. We're all kind of on the edge of our seat waiting for his post-heat interview. It's going to be gold no matter what.
Yeah, I tried to throw to it when he's not even there yet. I love it. Mason's amazing. But we've got some highlights to watch. Heat 3 of the morning feels like a whole nother day because we've even seen that much action. Let's roll the tape on how we got things started this morning. We had a brief hold. Heat 1 and 2 were showing that there's options out there. Then we got to see just unbelievable form. Benji Brand, what a weapon he is, Mitch.
Yeah, and this heat to me was a clear example of why these surfers deserve a spot in the event, right? You have the best 20 out there of the region, especially a lot of pipe specialists. How was that 7.9 though from Benji Brand? That turn alone to me was worthy of being the event. And then Koa Ross, I mean, he also got some excellent waves in this one.
Yeah, Koa, he had a nice straight air too, I think, in this heat after a barrel. And this is in the morning when the waves were a little bit bigger, and these guys had to do so much work getting cleaned up. Gray hair gonna pop in air after this barrel in the sandbar. a really cool highlight there from Koa. A lot of work today, though, is the theme. You know, these guys got so many beat downs in between waves. They're going to go to bed tonight with all kinds of water pouring out of their nose.
Yeah, really great season already starting for Koa Smith. He's got some new contracts, new stickers on his board. He's kind of reinventing himself, I think, the business side of his career. But he only gets better at pipe, and he probably saw that wave before he rode it because he's so deep and in tune with pipeline. 817 for the barrel to punt combo. Benji Brand right behind him, but his heat started actually with his jersey getting ripped off. All of a sudden, we're like, is there a free surfer in the water?
Yeah.
No, Benji already got smoked, and he shook it off, found his jersey, and kept packing barrels, Mitch.
Yeah, no, I'm glad the judges weren't as lenient as him having to get his jersey back on as quickly as possible either. It was dangerous out there, as you were saying, Ross, and you want to minimize the risk and the danger level out there. Props to him, though. He went back out there, dropped a couple of sevens, and advanced, Joe.
And it's interesting. I think we talked about this, Ross, this morning with Koa, who's very charismatic, loves the camera, loves content, loves inviting people in. You know, and then you got Benji Brand, who doesn't want to do that at all. You know, he's like, if I could just surf and you guys do it, that'd be great. You know, he wants to fish, he wants to dive 50 feet in the ocean and, you know, get the fish of his life and go home and do it again the next day. You know,
He's so humble, and he's really, not exactly gravitating towards cameras and getting like you said, stacking clips and putting content on YouTube or something like that. But he is one of my favorite surfers. Benji Brand he's such a weapon, and he's really good in hollow waves. He's also sneaky good in performance waves, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good on the rail.
you guys ready for Mason?
Yeah,
Let's
bring it.
go.
Yeah, Mason Hose with Jesse Starling.
Get weird, Mace.
We're on. Mason, I love chatting to you, and today's my third time. I feel like we've become friends in one day.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like three times on the interviews. Usually that's a good sign with the WSL or anyone, I guess.
Yeah, it's always a good sign. Great signs in that last heat. You and Pipe were just in sync today. You made it look a little less scary, but then I was thinking to myself, you're on a big board, and if the whole board gets covered, you're really deep in that barrel. Talk me through those waves, because they, from the beach, and then when you think about the board, I was like, oh wow, he's really deep.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I got really lucky. I had a couple nice waves come over like right by me, and my board is, I love like a little bigger board when it's like that out there, because it might, some waves look perfect, but there's a lot of like water moving above and below you, you know, so it's just like ripping, and it's nice to just have a big board cutting across, and like just I feel more connected with it, you know, and so the big board helped me a lot. And then I also had like a nice wave or two where I got really lucky, where maybe the boys in the heat that maybe had priority or not, they were like a little off the knuckles, you know, or their boards were maybe a little small, like my dad would say. But the board, yeah, was just like, go Mason, and if they want it, just stay out of their way, you know, don't interfere. But I could tell they weren't getting in, so I got to kind of take advantage of the opportunity, and it was really fun, and I feel like my board helped me a lot.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall of everything that goes through your head in a heat, because it feels like you think about every finite detail out there, not just the waves, not just your equipment, but what your competitors are thinking as well. But you also have this really kind of not competitive surfer edge to you, but that's a way that a real high up competitor thinks.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I try my best, or I've learned not to like worry or care at all what the other guys are thinking or doing or anything, but I try to stay aware of them, like before it's the event, you know, I'm like, okay, or just before the heat, you know, I know each guy has their strengths and their weaknesses, and then I obviously try and like play on their weaknesses, you know, and try not to let them jam on their strengths. But out there, it was really nice, because I was just trying to like not, because all those, I've had a few heats with Oliver, and he's like younger, and he's gotten me a few times, so I've been like, I can't wait to get this kid back one day, like for like a few weeks. And I don't know if that would count as getting him back, but he got me similar here and there. So I was like, yes, come on, give me this kid. And he's he's probably a teenager now, but. So anyway, I was kind of like in my head, like, hey, I don't care about what they're thinking or anything, but I want this kid, I want to get him. And then I was using that, and I was also like looking at the beach, just like thinking, this is my beach. I was like looking at the beach, the whole coast, because I live right on the point, you know, and I was like, from that point all the way to here, this is all like, I hate to sound like this in my brain, you know, I'm like, this is more mine than your guys', you know? So I was trying to like use that, you know, but in a positive way, not like mine, but I was just like, come on, Uncle Derek. I'm like, what would Uncle Derek be thinking? I was looking at the coast. This is mine for 30 minutes, not for more. But I was just like, this is mine for the next 30 minutes. I feel like not these younger ripper guys, you know. And I think I was trying to like feel that, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 and I was like, "Whoa, relax, Mason, time to go in, give him a chance." Nah, but it was fun, too fun, and they're all super good. Like I said, they've beaten me before, so I just got lucky today, and I get to talk a little bit, and I'm stoked.
Mason, I've loved it. Let's do it again. Let's do it a couple more times. All right, guys, enjoy the 805 post show.
Thank you so much, Jesse Starling. Thank you so much, Mason Ho. Once again, living up to it. On the spot, giving us just gold every single step of the way. What a good breakdown. And what a way to harness energy and motivation. You know, every competitor at the highest level looks for pieces of motivation, you know, to perform. And right there, Mason channeled it. Right now, though, you guys, this just happened. Sheldon Crawford just got a 12 out of 10.
Wow, that guy.
That just happened a minute ago.
Okay, and here's the crazy thing about that.
Wow.
That kid's at least 6'4", I want to say.
Yeah, he's tall.
So that wave has to be at least double his size, right?
There's backdoor, and then you can backdoor.
Yes.
And that's exactly, he pulled in at gums and came out it off the wall.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was, wow, you just stole the show.
Eli.
We were so psyching on a comp all day, and Shishi just went in there and stole it.
Look
Yeah,
at
she-
that. Eli Hanneman cheering him on. That is a special. And you look at Sheldon, he's in Heat 16. He's got Leo Fioravanti, Adore, Igor in the matchup. He's got that X factor. He has superhuman type connections with waves. He's done crazy full roads, kind of big moves out of his skin, and then he'll get like wave of the winter the next day, and then he laughs about it and just cruises. A little bit of that, like maybe Griff, Colapinto, happy-go-lucky headspace, Aki-ish a bit, and then just a deep connection with the ocean to pull off waves like that out of nowhere.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something, and I think Ross is going to agree with this. In the free surfs, that's where you demonstrate to your opponents who's the big dog out there, who's the alpha, and they just saw that right there on the beach. Everybody's been put on notice right there, Ross.
That's impressive. I'm stoked for Sheldon. And Sheldon, you know, I like your read on Sheldon. He does have just this real fun mix of that old school, like 80s kind of surf character. And I like the way he competes. We talk about him all the time. We use Sheldon as an example with some of the kids I coach, and because he goes out into heats and he doesn't confuse it too much with too much analysis. He just goes out there nice and empty and accepts Mother Nature, you know, whatever's coming his way. And he's got that raw power too. He's a big boy.
Oh, yeah.
All the locals doing well today. One heat in particular was a crowd pleaser back to heat number 6. It was a special one for guys like Luke Tema, getting big hugs from friends and family, and he locked into a high gear, got the highest single score of the day in the matchup with Ezekiel Lau.
Yeah, this was amazing. I mean, Zeke demonstrated why he's so good at this wave and the experience of being a former CT competitor at this location too. 2 heat wins today for Zeke. I mean, he got the 6.5 and then eventually the 8.87 afterwards too. Took the lead with this one, Joe, and I love what I saw from Zeke. As you called it earlier this morning, though, Luke Tema might be the best all-around surfer out of the North Shore at the moment.
Guy is on fire, locking in, going left, going right. Jackson Dorian said this is going to happen later. Watch Luke Tema and pack that backdoor bomb. The style he had out of it, this just kept his roll going strong, Ross.
Yeah, his strength is, I mean, Luke is a great surfer, but his strength is his energy. He's really switched on, and even if he's free surfing, he's catching 10 more waves than any other surfer in the lineup. He's kind of irritating to surf with, actually. But he catches a lot of waves, and he's just, his eyes are darting around. He's a horrible guy to draw in a heat because you know he's going to get his waves. You know he's going to give maximum effort. He's really switched on.
I bet Luke's going to call you into one next time he sees you for sure.
Hey, Uncle.
For sure.
Yeah.
Probably the opposite.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Great job, Luke. Great job, Zeke. That was sick to watch. As we know, we've got tons of waves coming in this forecast. Today was a gem of a day. It was wild. We had a little bit of a wait. There's still some chunky, lumpy ones out there, but let's look see what we might have tomorrow and through the waiting period. Ross, what are you noticing?
Well, again, we've been talking about it all week. There's tons of swell and really good direction. These storms are coming from Japan, so really good fetch line. No lack of energy, but the real story is the wind. Unfortunately, we have all these weak fronts on top of the island chain, and that's cutting off that trade wind that we usually enjoy. So we're gonna have to hit these little windows of glassy mornings, maybe some onshore afternoons. We got a little bit lucky today. The wind stayed slack, so it's gonna be old school, Mitch. We're gonna have to wake up in the morning and look out the window.
Yeah, and I think it seems ideal that tomorrow's a run day too, as
Kauli Vaast live in this one. Oh, the Tahitian gets blown out. And now winding up for a beautiful finish. Gosh, we got to just keep the cameras rolling. We're not going home. Free surf like this.
another potential qualifier right there for the CT2, Joe.
Gosh, he's looking strong. What's been your takeaway from Kauli Vaast this year? I mean, winning Portugal, he's always been well-rounded, but he's really proven it this season.
And I think consistency outside of heavy waves, too. I thought he proved a point in Brazil right there, despite only making one heat. Obviously, the final at Newcastle. To me, I got very impressed at the U.S. Open, too. And I think he's diversified his approach in that sense, too. Now it's, are you able to do it outside of Tahiti and prove your point at Pipeline as well, Joe?
And such a great year to qualify for a rookie. We'll wait to see where Kauli goes. Nothing's official yet in the top 10 for the men. But looking at that schedule, which we keep harping on with excitement, you know, for Tahiti, Cloudbreak back-to-back in that segment. You know, if he's going to need to get any flow going, he just knows that home is coming, where he could just steal 10,000 points without even sweating later on this year.
His power is his mind. He's really confident, borderline cocky, and he's coached by Jeremy Flores, and he's taught him to, you know, embrace the dog in that fight. And I like that. You know, it is, even he's sort of a throwback. He's unapologetic. He goes in the water. He tries to ruffle feathers. And as you guys mentioned, he's super well-rounded, too. He's sneaky good in the air. And obviously, being groomed in Tahiti, he can pull in anything. So he's going to be a weapon.
Let's see who won the 805 post show today. Top 5 coming up. Number 5 on the charts on a day like today. It's inevitable. You're going to have some wild beatings coming at number 5. All the big charging moments out there that led to some disasters, Mitch.
Yeah, Wipeout City, Shaden Picaro right there, early thing in the morning. He went for it, though. You got to give him a lot of credit just for trying right there at the very end of the heat. Ended up being an offer. Maikai Birdine as well. I mean, he was on the verge of, you know, getting that wave to be complete. And even everybody on the beach, too, got to watch out for your things.
Oh, totally. Josh Moniz had to jump early. He was with a big threat in this draw. He was lost
Billy
at
Kemper?
sea. Kemper had a few beatings, including that slow motion
like
over the
this
falls, Ross.
Jamie O'Brien, right on the back. Ouch!
That is a perfect example of what Pipes does to everybody. Regardless of who you are, Pipe always humbles you.
Thomas Lindorst going down. He recovered from that, even packed a couple more, so he didn't give up. Huckabee as well, Mitch.
Oh, yeah. Broken board on this one. Good, nice attempt, though, from Ryan, and eventually won the heat after this. But, yeah, big wipeout led to a broken board for Huck.
And then this one really took our breath away. Riaru Ito, that was scary, but then he rebounded into a 9-point ride, Ross.
Oh, that was such a heavy wave. And again, he just instantly won over so many fans just by going on that wave. There was no chance he was going to make it, but he sent it anyways. But Pipe takes and then Pipe gives. And right here, he just enjoyed that wave. This guy's a gnarly charger. And I think Brody was in the booth with us, and he says, hey, don't sleep on this kid. He's good in the air, too. So this is someone I'm learning about right now on the fly.
Getting the number 3 spot, Mitch, Luke Swanson.
Love the way this kid was able to approach the heat out there today. Dropped an 8, was able to get a 7 as a backup, too. And to me, this has been his best performance that I've ever seen at Pipeline, regardless if it's a free surf or a heat. He just looked comfortable out there. He navigated the lineup, Joe, and it just seemed like from the get-go in this heat, he was the guy to beat. And props to Luke. He's had a down year on the Challenger Series. This is going to be a big confidence booster for him afterwards.
Great decision on the board choice, grabbing the 6-4 that he talked over with Ross Williams as he moves on. Number 2, the Luke Tema show, Ross.
Yeah, there was no doubting him. We all knew that he was going to put together a really good heat, and he's got great vision at backdoor and pipe. He knows this reef well. He's been putting in the hard hours out here, and he found it. He found a couple waves that scooped underneath everyone, and right away, he was out the gates too. I think Lucas Godfrey went left somehow. We were kind of surprised about that. Right there, you can see Lucas Godfrey going left, and Tema said, shoot, I'll go right, and scooped a big score.
Well done to Tema. 9.23, finishing second in the matchup with Ezekiel Lau, getting another chance in the round of 64, winning the 805 post show. Local boy Joey Johnston went big today.
Yeah, stoked for the kid, and you know, props to him. First thing in the morning, paddling out there with you know, nothing to gain and nothing to lose, excuse me, and absolutely everything to gain. And I think he proved a point that local knowledge is imperative to out here, regardless if it's a QS, a Challenger, or the Championship Tour level guys. But to me, Ross, the impressive thing was that he went out there, all smiles going into the heat, came out the exact same way too.
That was insane right there. What a crazy takeoff. Joey gets some of the gnarliest barrels the last several years out here at Pipe. That guy charges, really good technique. It's a good story too. He doesn't have really any sponsorships going on there, so I hope he goes deep in a contest and grabs himself a big old check.
It's the best part of this event, when a local just steps up, shows what they do every winter out here in a jersey against an international field. Joey, not winning once, but twice, still has a chance to create more upsets as we go further in the draw, Mitch.
And making a name for himself too in the wide world of things out here in the surfing world. But what an epic day. Genuine moments there for Mason Ho, stoked for Joey, and we got the seeded rounds coming up in the next few days too, Joe, and forecast looks good for tomorrow. If I'm a betting man, I think tomorrow's a go, definitely in the morning.
I'm feeling it. Ross, you feeling it tomorrow?
Yeah, the swell's going to be smaller, which is good because it was so big today, but I think the wind is meant to turn west midday. So yeah, like Mitch says, I think early in the morning it could be really nice.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us all day. For Ross, for Mitch, I'm Joe. On behalf of the WSL, our whole crew here, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on Sunday morning, 7:15 for the call. Take care.